I am the interstellar mediator, Sol 13, Terra 3, forest monk, university professor, mother and author. Respect and love. Greetings. Before starting this presentation, I would like to extend my sincere condolences and the expression of my deepest sympathy to all those who have lost a loved one. This is a difficult time for everyone. It was difficult for those who have left us. It is difficult for those who are currently fighting for their life. Difficult for families who are struck not only by confinement, but by sadness and the pain of losing those they love. I know how much this suffering affects you. Please know that I am wholeheartedly with you, and be assured of my warm sympathy and my friendship. I also would like to give my support to everyone who sent me messages of distress and call for help. Healthcare workers, the emergency services, firefighters, store staff, and doctors on the front line facing the pandemic and fighting to protect the lives of others and keeping life going at all costs. A very, very big thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you. Let's start the presentation. The central topic of this video addresses what is happening at the planetary level and the question asked to all of us and to humanity at large, one of solidarity and unity. What is required at this time is an individual and collective transformation of the ways everyone perceives the world and creates the human reality. The core subject of this video is UNITATE SINERGIE. I am speaking to the peoples of planet Earth. I am addressing all citizens, men, women, presidents, soldiers, scientists, religious leaders, teachers, workers, housewives, unemployed people. I am speaking to all because this topic deserves your attention and concerns you. I am speaking to you directly. This is a personal message. Actions 1 and 2 are organized this way. Before you can use the universal key, which I'm going to give you in the next video, let us change our angle of perception. Let us consider that life, the cosmos, planets, humanity, human beings, and all populations, whether human or non-human, are a harmonic and indivisible all joined together by intimate bonds. The chaos and the difficulties that everyone is currently going through are temporary they will pass. What follows, positive, negative, or unified, depends on everyone and each one of us in particular. In a while, everything will come back together, but in a different way. The world will no longer be the one you once knew. The opportunity is both dramatic and unique, and you have a big responsibility, the one where you have to make a choice, a decisive and capital choice for the future of the human society. You must choose not only how to become united, but also what this unity synergy must be. You have to be creative, innovative, dynamic, be yourself and in solidarity. Many people are currently experiencing lots of fear, panic, anxiety, and they move towards exclusion and rejection of others by thinking only of themselves, buying weapons and huge amounts of food at the expense of others. The reality they project and create is then similar to what they had, a world oriented towards service to self, a world of violence, selfishness, pain, suffering, and duality. This is the world you already know, and these people project and create a similar one. Other people who are capable of not yielding to this type of feelings show solidarity, think of others, buy the minimum, open up and create meditation or support groups to gather and to continue to be connected. The reality they envisioned and project is oriented towards service to others, ethics, fairness, respect and love, a world of well-being, happiness and unity. And this is the world they will have. When you plant roses, you plug roses. You don't harvest potatoes. It's common sense. What connects human beings to each other and to flora and fauna, to planet Earth, to other planets and their inhabitants, are a set of underlying forces that are linked together. These links also connect the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious. They interact in tense and continuous flows. They self-regulate without you seeing them or having to worry about them. In order for you to clearly see this set of connections, I named it reticulum. It comes from Latin reti and the suffix culum, or from the Old French réseau, which designates a set of threads that are assembled or crisscrossed, as in a fishnet, a spider web, a headdress, or an old woman's bag. By extension, reticulum also designates all network assembly systems or sets of people who are linked or connected to one another. I discovered this system of connections when I was 6 years old, thanks to a fly. Let me tell you the story. I was born a preemie, helped with forceps, and 2 months early, on July 14th, after hearing the noises of cannon shots and fireworks from the celebrations of the French Revolution, which were for me the trigger that I should come out of wherever I was. I was aware of my life in my mother's womb, and every night I was synchronized and looked after by the long blue hands of the Andromedans, whom I saw passing through the portholes of the incubator where I was. As a child, I grew up at the end of World War II under the Andromedans and the Irmas, the feline race's protection, in poverty and havoc, food rationing and hunger, destruction and devastation. And with my tummy hurting from hunger every day, I was fed by the American Marshall Plan, which gave the children the right to an orange and a small bottle of milk when getting to school in the morning. The school had been reopened, but the lessons in class seemed to be unbearably slow. I answered too quickly without giving the other school children time to think. So the teacher pushed me aside and I spent my days alone at the back of the classroom. One day I began to look at a fly running on my school desk. She had beautiful transparent wings with iridescent colors. She could take off vertically, fly at incredible speeds, make a circle and come back to land in front of me. The structures that held its wings were darker, and the veins looked similar to the branches of the trees I could see through the classroom window or to my fingers. This little fly was amazing because she was talking to me. She said, "Make yourself very small like me and come play with me." So I did what she suggested and shrank up to her. The first thing I saw was that she had hexagons in her eyes. I asked her what she saw and she replied, "Look, make a mask using the black structure of my wings like glasses. Then put it in front of your eyes. Do you see all the hexagons?" "Yes. And what do you see?" "I see lots of teachers, a small one in the middle and lots of big ones around." "Very good. Now do the reverse. What do you see?" "I see a big teacher in the middle and lots of little ones on the sides." "Very good," she said. "Now mix the two. What do you see?" "I only see one teacher in patches." She then started playing with me, telling me to grab her and run after her on the walls and on the ceiling. I was trying to follow her, but I fell down immediately. She then turned over one of her legs and showed me she had sticking pads underneath. "I had to imagine them," she said. After many unsuccessful attempts, I started to run after her on the ceiling, looking upside down at the teacher and the children below me. It was a lot of fun for me as a young child. She was teaching me several concepts. 1. The ability to get out of my body, OBEs, outside of body experiences. 2. The concave, and 3. The convex. 4. Verticality, and 5. Horizontality. 6. Distance and speed. 7. Concentration and observation. 8. The creation of an object or a reality thanks to my imagination. 9. Different types of sights and different perspectives. 10. The hidden things that we don't see with the normal human visual spectrum, for example, all the hair and receptors that the fly had around the eyes. 11. Duality and unity. Many years later, I ended up linking these childhood discoveries to the golden ratio and the Fibonacci sequences, and to the order and unity synergy underlying the existing, underlying life. Leonardo Fibonacci, 1175-1250, is an Italian mathematician known for the sequences which bear his name and his ability to calculate conversions between currencies of different countries using mathematical bases 10, 12, or 20. The golden ratio can be found everywhere. 1. In the flora, the leaves, branches, roots, rivers, drought veins and planets. A forest, for instance, is not an accumulation of trees, but a unique super-organism. Trees are naturally connected to each other by a sprawling network of fungi, the filaments of which take nutrients from the soil and exchange them with the sugars produced by plants from photosynthesis. This symbiosis is coupled with grafting between tree roots. These transplants are performed within the roots of A, the same tree to ensure its stability, B, within trees of the same species, and C, between different species, which is also the case for human beings on Earth and between countries. Trees exchange water, sugars, and organic matter. This solidarity between the trees takes place on a forest scale. Trees benefiting from a humid location share their excess water with those growing on drier grounds. Human beings must develop this solidarity among themselves. In a collective and planetary way, and share water and resources with other parts of the planet, so that the forest, humanity, can develop as a flourishing and verdant whole. The reticulum and reticular structures are present in everything that exists. In wildlife, in society and structural organizations, the arts, craftings, constructions, communication systems, or the organization of individual thoughts. Here is a 5,000 years old quipu, which was worn at the waist by the Incas, visually showing individual records and status or statistics of the Inca Empire. The reticulum is seen everywhere, in meteorology, with lightning, in the shape of snowflakes, in cymatics, in sounds, rhythms, harmonics, vibrations and frequencies. The golden number or golden ratio also exists at the very heart of the process of enlightenment. Everything, absolutely everything, is built on a reticular toroidal foundation formed by intimate forces which connect all that exists in a dynamic and living structure in constant search for balance, integration and fusion. Just as trees communicate with each other through their roots, or from their roots to their branches and to the cosmos, the transfer of information you receive passes from your body to your mind, to Earth, to space, to Laniakea, the galaxy supercluster, and the amalgamating universe clusters. Everything is interconnected. Everything, absolutely everything, thanks to these linking systems from the microcosm to the macrocosm. Regarding the anatomy structures, whether terrestrial or extraterrestrial, we find the same reticuli built on similar structures on the golden ratio. Here is the example of the Da Vinci Vitruvian man and the proportions of a human body and face, whether terrestrial or extraterrestrial. The terrestrial human body system consists of 12 interactive reticular systems, such as the skeleton, the muscular system, the nervous system, the circulatory system, etc., and each can be divided into several subsystems. For example, the skeleton is made up of several systems: the head system, the chest system, the arms, the legs, the fingers, and the feet, and it is composed of a total of 270 bones at birth, decreasing to 206 in adulthood. These 12 complex sets or reticuli are managed and monitored by a brain which is also composed of advanced reticular systems, managing algorithms which are filtered and simplified to feed and nourish the conscious, the subconscious, and the supraconscious. The deeper and the wider the consciousness, the more extended the reticular systems and connections spread. The main function of the brain is a centralized control over all the other parts of the body. It is composed of several subsystems as well. The two most important systems are, one, on the one hand, the cerebral cortex, which contains 15 to 33 billion neurons, a true miniature cosmos in itself, neurons which are individually or collectively linked by synapses to several thousand other neurons. These neurons communicate with each other through the synapses, long fibers that carry sequences of pulsed signals to other parts of the brain or the body, targeting specific receptor cells. Here are pictures of the different types of brains. Figure 1 is the brain of the bottlenose dolphin. Dolphins are all of extraterrestrial origin and of the Sirius A and C lineages. The volume of their brain is 1300 cubic centimeter, and it has two lobes, two masses. Figure number 2, the human brain has a volume of 1200 to 1400 cubic centimeters, and it is composed of two lobes as well. On Earth, the two lobes are presented as having different capacities, which is seen as an aberration by extraterrestrial races. The left part of the brain is presented as being rather analytical, capable of handling logic, mathematics, and sciences. The right part of the brain is presented as being creative, intuitive, emotional, telepathic, and musical. Men are said to be more centered on the left lobe and women on the right one. And it is easier to move from mathematics, left lobe, to emotions, right lobe, than vice versa. From the point of view of interstellar races, there are two different types of brains. Figure 3 and figure 4 are extraterrestrial brains. The brains are slightly larger, with 1400 cubic centimeters for those with two lobes and 1900 cubic centimeters for those with single lobe, single mass. The single lobe or single mass occupies the entire volume of the cranial cavity. Some YouTubers, little concerned with the accuracy of their words, have said loud and clear that the extraterrestrials have only a half brain, occupying only half of the skull. It's, as you see, totally incorrect. They have only one mass, but it occupies the entire inner cavity of the skull. The type 3 brain with two lobes are those of the Africans, the Humites, and the Syrians. The type 4 brain with a single lobe, a single mass, are those of the Andromedans, the Antarians, the Diazelian Tiplex, the Arcturians, the Pleiadian Angans, the Pleiadian Salatians, and the Pleiadian Tegetans. These differences in volumes and masses between human terrestrial brains and those of other races partly explain the differences in the ways of thinking, analyzing, reacting, feeling, believing, loving, and their perspective on reality. Theirs being an integrated or merged reality in 5D or 50 Hz. 2. And on the other hand, and besides the cortex, the second very important system is the corpus callosum, because it is the means of synergy between the left and the right sides of the brain, ensuring the transfer and the coordination of information. The differences are clearly seen by comparing Figure 1, a human brain, and Figure 2, the brain of the Alphatans, the Humites or the Syrians. The corpus callosum is larger for extraterrestrials than for humans. The volume is even more significant when we look at Figure 3, the brain and corpus callosum of the Andromedans, the Arcturians or the Pleiadians, where the two lobes, the two masses, have merged and are now only one mass. The reticulum represents the total set of all these connections, whether physical, mental, psychological or spiritual. This is the instrument you have for connecting the conscious, the subconscious and the supraconscious, and which allows evolution in 5D and an integrated or merged reality at all levels. The reticulum represents a gigantic memory where millions of gigabytes accumulate data from millions of peripheral sensors. After being filtered, the information flows and is being transferred from the different levels and systems of perception, what you see, what you feel, breathe, hear, touch or think, towards the deepest parts of yourself and towards the heart, core of your DNA, your inner vault. DNA retains or rejects information thanks to a system of flapping gates or doors that open up or close and which allow the flow of information to be transferred to it or not, thereby integrating your own DNA. Take emotions, for instance. They are organized in a memory palimpsest and superimposed layers which accumulate and petrify over generations. They are organized into groups that you can study closely by looking at the wheel of American psychologist Robert Plutchik. The emotions associated with objects can be positive, interest, attraction, surprise, or negative or neutral, alarm, aversion, indifference. When you feel your emotions, the flapping gates of your DNA open up or close, welcoming or rejecting the incoming data. Your DNA is therefore what you are right now, but also the DNA you are going to pass on to your future children and that of humanity in general. Your reality is directly proportional to what you agree to feel or not, or what you agree and accept to be and to express. This is your current reality, and that is also that of your DNA. Each fit of anger, each fit of jealousy, lack of respect towards others who are different from you, fear, panic, selfishness, hysteria, violence even in words, create again and again the same reality which you are trying to escape from and which is nothing other than what you think or who you are in this moment projected outside of yourself. That projection is what you express and what you manifest. The reality you are manifesting now, in this moment, is the one that is also manifested into your DNA. The great everything is a living, dynamic and pulsating everything with inner norms. 1. Life is the norm everywhere on Earth, in the cosmos and in the universes. 2. The golden ratio is the structural norm. 3. The reticulum is the clustering and fractalizing norm. And this great everything is a living, unbreakable whole structured by dynamic toroidal forces in presentia. It is fluid and crystalline, and it is in constant search for equilibrium. That everything is who you are. You are that everything, individually and collectively.